Lost in this hazy room, the darkness surrounds. Pulsating beats electrify the ground. I feel the energy, it's flowing through my veins.
What's up, guys? How's it going? It's April with the Phoenix Collective. We're a group of spiritual baddies and spiritual daddies here on a self-healing journey, right? To lift the consciousness to a higher vibration by attending to self, right? By actually living the life as ourselves without avoiding, without being in our feels, right? Fuck our feelings. Recognizing that the external world is not the issue. The problem is me, and right? All right. So the only reason I say that is because I'm getting the wounded healer energy, and that's why I jumped down here. The first I pulled using the White Feather Tarot, the Ascension deck. I checked it. I just did a dipstick on the energy, and I got the Chiron card, which is the wounded healer. Right? That is like in the reverse. It came in the upright, but when it's in the reverse, it's the poor me, where we're focusing on our pain, right? And we're running and we're avoiding who we are. We're wanting things, but we're like, oh, it's too difficult. I cannot go through with it. The martyrs, that it's everybody else is the problem all around me, which I've seen a lot of lately. But I'm not giving anybody an out, and I'm not giving myself an out either. All right, we're examining ourselves. That's the only way to be. All right. And I always say that the first step in this, right, is that root chakra energy, being at a place where we can be vulnerable to actually open up and heal, where we have a safe space, where we're not being attacked by the people around us, and we're away from substances and people that are, abusive and, engaged in those behaviors, those lower natures, nefariousness, I guess I should have it, right? Because a lot of people really feel like the goal is to be sober. It's not really the goal, that's the beginning. And I hate to say it, but once we actually, and it takes 3 days, okay? 3 days to be considered clinically sober. So, at 4 or 5 years, you are no more sober than you are after 3 days, right? That just means you don't have any toxins in your body, but that's just the beginning, because you didn't drink or use alcohol or, engage in avoidant behavior or, abusive behaviors, manipulative behaviors, those 6 sad human natures, right? That we use to disguise who we really are, the masks that we put on to avoid the organizations and the indoctrinations and the programming and the patternings and the, all that bullshit in society that we use to avoid who we are. Because if we actually liked ourselves, we wouldn't be doing those things, right? So really, you guys, it's just the beginning, because once we get sober and actually are present with ourselves, that's when the real work begins. Because now we're left with the figuring that part out of like what it is about ourselves, and getting back to that authenticity and being okay. All right, getting rid of the trauma and realizing where it's coming from. And we can trace that back to our origins, past life, ancestral trauma, right? Generational trauma, and just a collective trauma and conditioning all around, all right? It's all around us. It's culture. It's all these things that tell us that we have to be a certain way and not to be ourselves. It's really brave of you to actually get on this journey and examine your wounds and become the Chiron energy in the upright. All right, the upright Chiron energy is that wounded healer that actually starts to take that pain and heal from it, and then grow stronger because of it, and then be able to utilize that to help heal others. Yeah, it's a badass energy. All right. It's when we can face that vulnerability and who we are authentically and not be afraid of it. Say, yeah, I might have done that. Yeah, I might have been this way, but this is why, right? Because I didn't feel safe and I didn't feel loved and I felt neglected and I wanted to fit in and I needed to feel safe. All right, we all want to get in somewhere, right? We all want love and belonging and safety. And a lot of times we find ourselves dimming to fit into the world around us because we're afraid to be who we are. The energy today is spirit saying, it's time to be you authentically and not be afraid of it. Okay. All right. With this Chiron energy coming out, I'm gonna shuffle some cards and actually dipstick into this energy more before I keep channeling, so that I can guide this energy a little bit more. But I just wanted to kind of read this Chiron to you. It says, you are healing your deepest wounds and liberating yourself from the prison they have kept you in. It might not be easy, but you're doing a great job. That's awesome. All right. I'll be right back. I'm gonna do some breath work, check in with my prana, and connect into you guys to bring you some messages of hope and healing that you need to hear. All right, take this time now, if you haven't already done so, hit the follow button, like my videos, or subscribe. All of that helps me to monetize. All right, that's the best way to invest. You don't have to donate. You don't have to do anything more than that. That's the best way to contribute to my channel if you like what I do. All right. Also, if you just remember, these are collective messages. None of this will, don't force any of it to fit. You'll know without a doubt if this reading is for you. It'll resonate. All right. But stick around. This is also entertaining, and there's usually big key concepts or ideas that are beneficial for you on your journey in life. All right, as we all band together as light workers to lift the consciousness to a higher vibration. Those of you in the Phoenix Collective, if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so Spirit's really having me focus on my throat chakra. Clearing that out. Just visualize, you guys, as you do your breath work, connecting in with your prana, right? That's just intention, right? Each breath in, we breathe in life force energy, right? That's what connects everything around us to one another. It's what connects me into you and into the reading and the cards and the energy. It gives me the messages that I need, right? So as I breathe in, life force energy cleanses your body. It will remove all that doesn't serve you, okay? So as you breathe out all that evil eye, all the negative intentions from the world around you, all of those self-limiting beliefs. Divine has me focusing on the blue energy. I see blue, which means there's a need right now to speak our truth. You're ready to speak your truth, and you need to not be afraid. You need to be vulnerable. Right now, also there's another focus on the solar plexus. This is yellow. This is what gives us our confidence. That's that self-love that helps us believe in ourselves and the message that we're speaking. Yeah, okay. And I got the Five of Wands, and the Judgment card. Okay. Yeah, this is awesome. All right. This is spiritual awareness, okay, and assertiveness. So that is those two energies, right? It also is that everything comes together at the heart, So we should always be moving forward with only love and that green energy, okay? And as we focus on each chakra when we do our breath work, I breathe in that color, okay? I typically breathe in the green just as I begin, because I center myself at my heart. All right, we want to always be firmly planted on this earth, because we are living in the 3D, okay? For this 3D energy, our planet's at 5D now. I think the planet's at 5D now. But we want to be connected firmly to the ground, to the earth, so that we're rooted in the present moment with a firm connection to the 5D, which comes in through the crown, right? Comes in through the crown, and that helps us see accurately the world around us. That's that pineal gland, that sacred secretion that comes through the self-healing journey, right? You grow a new connection. We open up our brain, you guys. Our brain, like they always talk about how we don't operate at full capacity of our brain, but I'm promising you, as you get sober and you start to heal yourself, being present each day and pushing through the emotions without masking, that vulnerability to do the right thing, to say the right thing, to when you see an injustice around you, that you speak on it. You're not a flying monkey. You reflect to society the behavior they should be presenting. Okay? And you should be a model of that as well. All right? Because we don't sit by idly anymore. Sorry, those days are over. When we allow big bad bullies and organizations and people that have power and money to brainwash us and making us believe that we have to follow along to fit in. Nah, we don't do that anymore. It's way cooler to speak the truth. Yeah, it is. Than to be a flying monkey because you want to be part of the group, because you feel afraid that if you speak your mind that others won't like you. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? And the collective that I'm talking to today, this is exactly that Chiron energy that Spirit's saying, it's your time. This is your time. This is what you need to be doing. This is a pivotal moment. It's a pivotal time on our planet for radical growth and change. The planet's gone through 5D. We have more people elevating and waking up, and we outnumber them now. We do. We outnumber them now. So we're starting to see structures deteriorate all around us. The government, record labels, the famous people that what we used to hold as in regards as fame. Now we're looking more at for famous people, we're looking at podcasters and we're looking at comedians, those that aren't afraid to call out the sick, sad world shit and be honest about it. Okay, those are the people we trust. Yeah, government, no. We all know that there's something else going on there, and we all know that whenever there's a tragedy, Charlie Kirk, or anything that goes on is just a distraction meant to divert our attention while they're like, look over here because we're doing this over here. Okay, this is a wake-up call. This reading is to my light workers. All right, those of us that have become that wounded healer, we're on the tail end of it. You're on the tail end of that. You're in the very, very end of your spiritual awakening, or you're in another phase of a new one. All right, I don't think that it ever ends, guys. All right, I think that we're going to be evolving more and more and more until we break off into that, lift our vibration, till we lift off into that new earth. But those of you that are going there, don't worry, they won't even know we left. Yeah. That's what Dolores Cannon says, that when we evolve and match this new earth, and when we reach that vibration, that we will just kind of disappear, and those left on the planet will be like, wow, those poor suckers. Yeah, they passed away with believing that they were going to a newer earth. And families, structures that we were born into, and faulty systems, we're going to vibrate away from them, but we're going to vibrate towards our new soul tribe and our new soul family. And I know that those of you that I'm in the collective in this reading that I'm talking to today, you found your tribe. Yeah, and you are protected in that support system now, and that's crucial. You've got finally get in where you fit in. Congratulations. Because we're all working together to uplift the consciousness to a higher vibration. You don't have to censor yourself anymore. Speak your truth, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Is anybody that has anything negative to say about your happiness or your messages of hope and healing to others, they're just still hurting. All right. And that was so long ago in the past. Doesn't it feel like that was long ago? I know the collective I'm talking to today, it does. It feels like it. Spirit has gotten you away. You are safe. You are healing. And you're not afraid to be you anymore. You're not seeking validation from the world around you. You're confident in who you are. You love yourself. You're not running from yourself. You wake up each day and directly are in the flow with the moment and all of the events that are being channeled to you each day. You see it for what it is. People can't hide and mask up in front of you anymore. As you elevate and you have that pineal gland activation, you get the gift of illumination, much like Jesus had. Okay? You see so clearly the truth in others. Yeah. And it's uncomfortable at first, but I'm used to it now because I have sympathy for those that are still hiding who they are, especially because it's so apparent. Okay, because we're all at different phases of this self-healing journey. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to determine punishment. I'm just here to help teach and help guide others, okay, into their spiritual awakening through their pain. So we have to start somewhere, right? And we have to be pissing people off. If we're pissing people off, that means we're doing the right thing, all right? In the past, we've allowed others to dim us to fit in. We've been in abusive relationships and abusive families, people that telling you, you can't do this, you can't do that, telling us who we are. Trust me, if you are around somebody that wants to tell you who you are, run. Run, run, run. It's not up to them to determine that, right? And this is really where it is, right? They don't have self-love. They don't like who they are. They're right where you used to be. And what happens when you're way down here, right? You start to tear other people down so that they can be lower than you. And that's the only way that you get to feel good about yourself, is by being abusive to others, right? So that you're above others. But I'm telling you, when you're way up there and you've gotten it by stomping on other people, there's a spiritual foundation up there. Okay? That was given to you by devil energy. And I don't know who you were praying to when you're praying on other people's downfall, but it's not God. Okay? That's not the Christ consciousness. So there's no footing, and you're going to get blown the fuck away and knocked around by that wind. All right? We got air energy. We got air energy in his house. And we've got the Virgo, which is the hermit energy in the house. Okay? So really what Spirit's telling me today is that hermit energy, when done right, is that time of intense. The hermit has that lantern, right? Because the hermit knows itself and is comfortable with itself. It has gone through a intense time of personal reflection and evolution. It always has that light, right? That's the namaste. That's the love and light in me honors the love and light in you, right? Don't get lost in the dark. The light never goes out for the hermit. They always know where they're going because they don't allow it to. It's that self-evolution and always being able to see the path. So, and it's also in the reverse, it's definitely that Virgo energy in the negative can be very self-critical and hyper-focused on their flaws and in the flaws of others. Okay, but we Spirit's saying no. We need to. This is that judgment and the Five of Wands. It's imperative that you assert yourself in order to move forward right now, okay? Overcome old patterns and fears, doubt in order to move forward. This is how we're moving forward. We're not allowing that to seep in. We're honoring that higher higher evolved hermit, Virgo energy to come in, okay? And then the air energy, that's the voice, right? That's the communication, that's intellect, that's voice, that's mind. Yeah, that's that intellectual property and the ability to communicate it. It's that Archangel Michael energy too that cuts through the bullshit and gives clarity, right? That's what you're meant to do. That's what Spirit is saying. Those who this message are for today are being asked to wake up, step vulnerably into that solar plex energy of confidence and self-love, to speak clearly your messages, okay? Because, baby, there's something good coming for you. There's something good coming for you. And it is, Spirit says, you're ready. You're ready. You're ready for this abundance. You're ready for this abundance, you guys. Like, honestly, you're ready for this abundance. I'm not making this up, all right? You put in the work. And okay, I pulled these two cards out right on top of each other, which I was like, first of all, my heart always sinks when I get this card. But right after it, I got this. And so there is something headed, that your reward for being on this level, there's a karmic rebalancing, there's a Libra rebalancing happening. That's a judgment, okay, for all the injustices done to you. There was a lot of injustices done to you, you know, but for you following the call and being used by the divine as kind of a emotional manager of those around you, popping you into the lives of those of unhealed people, and being pushed around and pushed out into the cold, to be targeted, to be lied upon. You guys, I mean, honestly, I got the Seven of Swords energy. There's some major deception that went on in your life, and that people were really trying to paint a false narrative of you, of something that you weren't. And when I get the Seven of Swords, it's an injustice. That's a theft. Yeah, that's people that were either stealing your light, your energy, pushing you way down here to come on top of you. That's because they were taking your energy and everything that you had. They saw that light in you, and they stole that. Okay, they stole that by stomping on you and elevating themselves. But I'm really picking up on some thief energy. I really am. This was to take something from you, paint a false narrative of you. Yeah, it was a control. All right. It's your time though. Okay, so here's some more messages here. We got the King of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. Ew, okay. So let go of the fear of self, be vulnerable, emotional freedom. Don't censor yourself, okay? So the King of Cups definitely knows who they are. They're in control of their emotions, okay? And so this is control. You're fearful. If you keep censoring yourself because you're wanting to project what you feel like people want to hear and what people want to see, you're going to end up in a lack mentality, okay? It's time for you to speak your truth, okay? You've got this under control, all right? You're mature and you're stable, but just stop holding so tightly. Let go. Start manifesting in the flow. Who cares, right? Who cares? This is Spirit saying, own it. Own who you are today. I mean, loud and clear, that's what this message is. Okay? We got the Seven of Wands and the Hermit. You must defend your deeply personal beliefs, your unique spiritual path, or individual truth, even if it causes separation or or can incite critical view. The world needs to hear what you have to say. All right, you've gone through a deeply spiritual process in this emotionally healing time to repair yourself. All right, you're at the end of that. You're at the end of that spiritual awakening, and you're ready. You know, You've been anointed. There's an activation. And now it's time to not censor yourself. Speak clearly and confidently all that you've learned, right? You are being uncloaked. This is Jesha energy all over it as we head into the Kali Yuga, or heading out of the Kali Yuga. We're heading out of the dark ages into the golden ages, all right? I mean, Spirit is giving you this Ace of Pentacles, this new beginning. It's a successful venture that brings public recognition, material rewards, and a sense of triumph. Look at that, a sense of triumph. We've got the Six of Wands. We've got Wands energy all over the place today. Wands, 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 right? This is action, passion, moving forward. This is Chariot energy. This is that drive and that ambition to move forward, and victory. That's that's beautiful. All right. We've got, let's see here, 10 of Cups and the 6 of Cups. Ooh, emotional. Okay. So this is emotional fulfillment and harmony through the process of healing from our past traumas. Yeah, the 10 of Cups and the 6 of Cups. This is the past. Oh, this picture almost makes me want to cry when I look at it. It's like a father or a spirit guide from heaven passing this down to you. Your gifts, your channeled energy. This is past energy. This is generational energy of being gifted a new beginning from Spirit. And the 10 of Cups, which is that end of the journey, the emotional, true emotional fulfillment, the I belong. Yeah, I'm meant to be here, right? Because I was made for this. So I deserve to be here. So do you. All right. I'm going to end it there. I want you guys to have a beautiful, beautiful night. Remember, we're all suffering this human condition together. Right? We're all spiritual beings on this planet. The law of one says we're all fractals of source. All right? And the goal is to remove that ego and remember that the only thing between you and I is love. It's the only true emotion. Everything else are temporary moments of being with the only purpose meant to guide our behavior. Okay? And teach it and how we treat one another. Okay? So please remember to be kind to yourself, but be kinder to those around you. Love and light.